All right, we'll go ahead and get started just so we have plenty of time for questions at the end. All right, well, welcome to the Faculty Senate State of the College Address. I'm Dr. Julie Dahl-Smith. I'm with Family Medicine and your president, and it is an honor to serve you guys. Thank you for joining us, those in the audience as well as those out in the virtual world. We really did hope that we could be together today for this address, but unfortunately, COVID has a mind of its own. And otherwise, we thought it was safer just for everybody to do this virtual with few people here along with us. So it is my great honor to introduce Dr. Hess, who will give our address. Thank you so
much. Yeah, thank you, Julie, and thank you, Faculty Senate. Dr. Keel is here, and Dr. Keene. I see Jorge Cortez. It's just a small group of people. I am never going to be involved in picking the date to give this talk, because I said in September, well, let's do it in January. It'll be safe. There'll be no COVID. So we have probably the highest infectious rate. We also have the worst weather day. And hopefully I'll have enough time to get this talk in before we have to send everybody home. But thank you for coming. It's really an exciting time. We got some great announcements, and we're going to go around the state. Hopefully it's going to be okay in Rome to get people to the room. So one of the refrains, you know, just like Sweet Caroline, our refrain here is one MCG, one mission, many campuses. We have a lot of exciting things going on. We're statewide, but we're all unified in really our mission here. Because of Vincent Robinson, our past president before Julie Dahl, really introduced us to the importance of the history of MCG. So Vincent Robinson, I'm only going to ask a couple of questions. Who is that in the upper left-hand corner? Lewis Ford, correct. That was the first dean of MCG. So, you know, we started small. We started in 1828. We're the 13th oldest medical school in the country. And we have now we're going to show what we're doing now. So we are an academic health center. I think everybody knows that. You know, there's only 2 true academic health centers in Georgia. And if you look at states with our similar population, Ohio, there's 6. In North Carolina, there's 4. So there's only 2 academic health centers where you really train residents and fellows in so many specialties, and you do NIH-funded research. And this is a noble mission. Academic health centers do a lot of research. They take care of 28% of Medicaid patients in the country. We're safety net hospitals. We deliver 40% of charity care, and we generally have better outcomes. So thank you all for doing this. We have a tripartite mission. Education, we'll start with that. Research and discovery, and end with clinical care, although they're all wrapped up. As most of you know, there's a huge physician shortage. There's a huge nursing shortage. The physician shortage predated COVID. We rank about 40th in the country in physicians per capita. All those blue counties are where we're short of physicians. About the only place we have enough physicians are some parts of Atlanta, some parts of Columbia County, some parts of Richmond County, and some parts around Savannah. The rest of the state is underserved, and that's very important. And we're underserved in almost everything you can imagine, primary care and almost all specialties. So because of that, we decided to increase the size of our medical school. That was something that goes back to when Doug Miller was dean in 2008 to eventually get up to 300. There was a lot of delays in that, but we're back on that schedule. But besides just increasing the size of the class, we'd like to increase the quality of our education and become innovative in our curriculum. So we developed the 3+, we call the 3+ program, and this was developed pretty much during the pandemic. We didn't really lose it. We started developing before the pandemic and continued it, but implemented in the pandemic. So most of you know we're in our second year of the 3+ curriculum. And while there's 4 pathways and medicine education is very personalized, pathway 1 is really the key pathway, which we're going to mostly talk about. They're all, I shouldn't say the key, they're all key, they're all important. But the pathway 1 is where you really finish medical school in 3 years, and your 4th year of medical school becomes your 1st year of residency in a Georgia residency, all right? In addition to that, there's other pathways. There's combined degrees. You know, David Mattson now has developed a master's in physiology, really important. Now, that is also a post-bac program as a pipeline to get into medical school, but it's also something that an MD could get a master's in physiology. There's MBA, MPH. That's really exciting. The pathway 3 is the traditional pathway where people going into other residencies would probably spend a year. If they go into radiology or interventional radiology, they would probably do more electives and that, et cetera. And then we have pathway 4, which with our emphasis on research now, a student could spend 8 to 12 months doing research. And while it's not an MD, PhD program, it would be a medical degree with a big research emphasis. Here's our class of 2025, and this is really important. We had not expanded our class in Augusta since 2006. So this is the first increase in our Augusta campus in 15 years. And then Athens, who we're going to get to soon, as Shelley will tell you, we now have 60 students there. We had 40 a couple years ago, up to 50 and 60. So now we have a class of 260, one of the biggest classes in the country. And we're able to do this because of our multiple campuses, but one MCG, one mission. It's an outstanding class. Here was our white coat ceremony. And Roger MacArthur actually gave the keynote address. And actually, you can't see it, but it was lunch served during this. The fat man's trucks are in the background. I want to make you hungry. I really want you people to fast and practice intermittent fasting. That's why we canceled the lunch, all right? It wasn't just to save money. It was really for your health. But it's also an academically excellent class. You can see how diverse the class is. But it's the highest MCAT scores we've ever had. Now, MCAT scores are not everything, but they're one indicator. It's a very high GPA. So it's an academically outstanding class that I doubt that I could get accepted into. We're also expanding our class. As I said before, we plan to go up to 300 students a year. This coming year, it looks like we're going to settle on 264, which is kind of an odd number, but it is an increase, and we'd like to increase further beyond that. Now, once you get your medical degree, it's very important that we now look at the 3+ program like it is. It's combining and this continuum between UME and GME. So we have to have more residency slots in Georgia. And thanks to the great committee that Shelley Nuss chaired, we have more residency slots. In fact, I think Wellstar, Walden Garris can correct me, has about 170 residents now, or close to it. So they've really developed more residency slots, as have other places in Georgia. So this is very important. We'd like to have a lot of our residents stay here, but they can also go to other places in Georgia. So in the 3+ program, primary care is broad, right? It's family medicine, internal medicine, pediatrics, OBGYN, general surgery, emergency medicine, and psychiatry. It's how the Georgia Board for Healthcare Workforce defines it. What's left? Radiology and neurology, right? I mean, hardly anything left. Orthopedic surgery and ENT, but it's so many things. About 60% of what our students go into as it is. Now, fortunately, and this is thanks to great work through Philanthropy and Dr. Keel and Russell Keene, you can see here, the reason they're separated, that was in a previous wave of the pandemic when we went and got the check. That's Wade Rakes, the CEO of Peach State Health, and Centene, and they gave us a $5.2 million check. That was real money. And then thanks to Dr. Keene and Dr. Keel's political skill and relationships, we got this matched by the state last year. So now we have a $10.4 million endowment growing in the foundation. And that endowment will fund scholarships. So what are these scholarships? These are scholarships that would waive the tuition or pay the tuition in the second and third year of a 3-year medical school for the students who commit to serve in an underserved area of Georgia for 2 years, which is most of Georgia, right? So this is very, very exciting. Here's our first cohort of 8 MCG 3+ students. They're from 8 different cities and 5 counties in a wide variety of specialties. Don't ask me the specialties because they've changed a little bit, but they represent the different primary care specialties I mentioned on that slide. So this is really exciting. This is our first cohort. And again, all this was done in the pandemic. And thanks to Doug Miller, Andrew, and all of you in academic affairs, Eric, and all of you who provide so much wonderful care to our students and so much advising. We've had to increase advising because there's so many options. You know, now you have so many choices, you need help making those choices. We hired Nancy Havis. You know, Nancy's kind of like Goldilocks, not too hot, not too cold. So she started out at the Medical College of Wisconsin in Milwaukee, where she was a dean for student affairs. She said, oh, it's too cold, let me move to Florida. So she moved to South Florida, took the position there, and then she realized she wanted to be somewhere in between. So she kind of settled with us, and she's really hit the floor running. She's very experienced. She's the Associate Dean for Learner Affairs, and Learner Affairs now has all these different subgroups. And it's really important when we talk about Learner Affairs to remember the UME, GME continuum, right? That's a key message here. So as part of Learner Affairs, we now have a new Learner Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. We have our new Associate Dean, Vanessa Spearman. Vanessa's been here a long time, a tireless worker, trained in internal medicine and psychiatry. She's got a great pedigree. Her father, Ron Spearman, who many of you know, was one of the first African-American students here at MCG. And in working with her is Tanya Aurora, who's an oncologic surgeon. And she came down and joined us from cold Pennsylvania. God knows how cold it is up there where she came from, but I'm sure she's happy to be here. So this, again, will span the continuum between UME and GME and really move us forward in that area. Again, one MCG, one mission, many campuses. What's the refrain? One MCG, one mission, many campuses. And this is how our state is divided up. Somewhat like congressional districts, but our campus deans fight and they get these little territories. So it's gerrymandered, it's changed now and then. But in addition to this, we have longitudinal integrated curricula now at 3 of our campuses, the Northwest campus, the Southwest campus, and the Southeast campus. And all those white areas is where we have students doing clinical experiences. So they're not just in Albany, they're all over the state. Our students are truly statewide. So now we're gonna go around. You can't do one of these presentations without calling out our regional campuses. So thank goodness we have about 8 IT people here to make sure this works, because I certainly wouldn't be able to make this work. So we're first gonna go to Athens, to our partnership campus at UGA, and you can imagine what they're gonna come up with. Shelley, you wanna give us a greeting? Yeah.
Yes, hello everybody from Athens. This is Shelley Nuss. I'm the campus dean here, and of course you can't be in Athens without saying go Dogs. It was a big year for the University of Georgia, and we have a wonderful partnership between the Medical College of Georgia, Augusta University, and UGA. And as David said, I think our big focus right now is growing our campus and growing our faculty, and so we are now up to 60 students per year. So we're going to be 240 at one point, which is actually a really big size. We're recruiting faculty, amazing staff as well. And our students really enjoy a nice small group learning atmosphere, kind of a family atmosphere in a smaller environment. So it really highlights the many campus, approach that David talks about, where if you like learning in a smaller environment, this might be the campus for you. So anyway, we also brought on a diversity and inclusion associate dean and Dr. McClowry, and again, amazing faculty and just a really nice place to work and learn for our students. So anyway, hats off to everybody and thanks from Athens. Talk to you later.
Yeah, thanks. And what we think, as Shelley said, the nice advantage of having multiple campuses is that you guys really in Athens pioneered the case-based learning, which we kind of adapted here. So we learn from you. And that's the good thing about having these campuses. We learn. And we go up to the Rome campus later where really they started a longitudinal integrated curriculum, which is now at other campuses. So you can experiment, you can develop, you can perfect, and then you can take it to other campuses. So now let's go to guess where? Brunswick. So we have a Southeast campus. So the Savannah and Brunswick people are together. I guess they moved south because of the weather. So let's go to Brunswick, Savannah, the Southeast campus there. Look at that. I love the sunglasses. And great. And that's Wayne Rents. Wayne, just stand up. And Elizabeth Gray. Elizabeth is usually up in Savannah, but they got all the kids together. That's great. So how are the Golden Isles? We wish we were in the Golden Isles. What's the temperature?
It's a little cool today and a little rainy, but still very bright. And with all these brand new students, we're having a ball and they're getting ready to start their clinicals in just a day, one day actually. Some of them actually went and scrubbed last night on cases.
Wow.
We're
so
excited.
How are they treating you down there? The students, do you like it down there?
Yes, sir.
All right. And some of you are at the Nunnally House. They have great housing there. You also have great housing in Savannah. So these health systems really support MCG. St. Joe's Candler in Savannah and Southeast Georgia and Brunswick are great supporters. Any other message you want to provide, students, or we like to hear from the students?
Come
campus.
All right. Great. All right. Well, thank you. We're going to leave you. We got to stay on schedule, but thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
All right. Now we're going to go to these campus deans tend to be very competitive. So now we're going to go to Phoebe Putney in Albany. And Phoebe also is a great supporter of MCG. And the campus dean there is Doug Patton.
Hey.
Looks like a student. Hey, how you doing? What do you have to say to us today? You're talking to everybody. There's not necessarily a lot of people in the room, but there's a lot of people watching this virtually.
That's great. And just for the record, we did not skip lunch. We're having red beans and rice and New Orleans style bread pudding. So I'm sorry for the rest of you.
Yeah.
We've got representatives here who are post clerkship, who are in their study phase. We've got new clerks who just started this week or last week actually on their clerkships and things like that. We're really enjoying the opportunity for the first time, and that's true for all of us, to have 3 classes that we're interacting with. The class that graduates this spring, next spring, and then 2 years from now. So we've got a lot of opportunity for networking between those groups now. We're really going to try and take advantage of that.
Well, we appreciate, Doug Patton is known, he's a favorite of the dean's office because he always brings us treats. And then for one, remember what the one meeting we had, Eric, where he brought us muffalettas? He had them flown in from New Orleans. So you guys, students, ask him for muffalettas from New Orleans next, okay? All right. Well, thank you very much. We got to move on, but we appreciate all you're doing down there. Okay, let's go up to the Northwest campus. And Rome. Hey, Rome, how you doing?
Doing great. Doing great, yep.
Good. Good. I'm trying to see who's all there. Is Dr. Brock there? I think that's him, but with his mask on. Okay, well, good. I'm glad you're here, and welcome. One of the things the Northwest campus, they have the longitudinal clerkship, but they also do these glamour photos of all the students. You can see them in the back there. Do all you students know you're going to have a glamour photo done? And they know everything about you. When I go up there, they tend to follow you wherever you go. They keep in touch track with you forever. But I'm glad Dr. Brock is there. You have some great teachers, but we really want to honor Dr. Brock today. We're going to give him a Community Advocacy Award. So Dr. Brock is a general surgeon. And when you go up to the Rome campus, it seems like everybody's going on a surgery. When you ask them why, they say 2 words, Paul Brock. And he really is a great teacher. And he's an Emory graduate, but he loves MCG. He loves our students. And how can you get students up at 6 a.m. and have them still like you? But he's able to do that. And he demands a lot, he expects a lot, but he gives so much in return. He's an active surgeon. I heard he does about 15 cases a day. And what I was told about you was when we were starting the campus, they said, if you can get Paul Brock teaching in your campus, you've got it made. And it's really, really true. Dr. Brock also usually flies down to our Jekyll Island course, which we haven't been able to have for the last couple of years. And then he comes to almost all the hooding ceremonies and he flies. But he's not in the air today. Paul, do you just want to say something quickly?
I'm just going to tell you, when this whole process started, I would never have believed what an educational process through a longitudinal teaching program would be like. Yeah, I have extended my career because of it. It has been absolutely as good for me as it has been for the students. It's invigorating, to say the least.
That's great. And that's one of the unique aspects that we start in Rome and now is at all our campus. Dr. Reeves started that. I think, do you have the plaque to give him there?
Yes.
All right. So he's got the plaque? Yeah, just give it to him. Yeah, it's, thank you so much, Dr. Brock. And thank you for all the students. Do the students have anything to add?
Come on up to Rome, man. We're loving
Join
you
us.
support.
It's great up there, isn't it?
Absolutely.
David,
right,
thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. We thank you. We thank you. You're what makes people, the volunteer faculty are really what makes MCG great. So we really can't thank you enough. Okay, we're going to move on now. Okay, we're going to move to another campus, and Wellstar's been, has always had a lot of our students, and they have a lot of our students in GME programs. And Walden Garris is going to say a few words, and then I'm going to say a few words about Walden Garris. So Walden?
So nice to be with everybody today. We actually have 141 current residents and fellows in this hospital, but as of our next recruiting season, we'll have over 160. We have 5 residencies and a fellowship, and we have students from MCG in our 3rd and 4th year clerkships. We've had some that have stayed on as chiefs, and we have now even had some MCG graduates who were here as students who are now on our faculty. So we love MCG students and are happy to be part of the team.
Well, we appreciate you too, and I'm glad you're on because you're getting a community advocacy award for all the work you've done. You know, you're the director of the internal medicine program. Every time I go up there, you tour me. You've been great, and you show me your birth certificate. You were actually born in Kennestone Hospital. You're a great teacher. You've been, I think, Lewis Lovett, who's the DIO, I think, termed you the heart and soul of the GME program, and you're a great teacher. At your own expense, you go around and teach our students how to listen to heart sounds. And it's not so, this is something I didn't know about you, is before you went into medicine, you were a high school teacher and a track coach. Is that true?
That is true.
That's great. Well, we appreciate all you do, and we appreciate all your support for our students in the GME program. And this is really the fruit of the great committee where that money was made available to allow Wellstar, who saw the needs and the opportunity for GME to invest and develop these programs, which is a huge boon to our 3+ program. And I think some of our faculty, and Kim Adianzar, you've been up to Wellstar, and so we have a good clinical relationship with you too. So thank you very much, Walter. We're going to move on, but we are going to say something. We've always wanted an Atlanta campus, and we've been working with Wellstar really for 5 years on this. And there were a meeting last week, which I think Walden Garris was at, and Doug Miller was at, and Catherine Martin, a number of people, a lot of people from Wellstar, Val Akopov, and it was a very encouraging talks. And our tentative plan is to start a full regional campus there in January of 2023, so next year. Now that requires LCME approval. We're not quite there yet, but we're on the road to having what we've always wanted is a campus in Atlanta based at Kennestone Hospital. And I think it has the most admissions of any hospital in Georgia. And it's also noted that's where Walden Garris was born. So remember that. And of course, they have other health systems and other hospitals that our students would rotate in. And lastly, another professional award. So I'm glad Roger came. We've got one person here in person. Roger, come on up. This is a professionalism award. And Roger, in a way, represents everybody all the physicians and nurses and the staff who sacrificed so much during COVID. And we give this award to many people. The reason we're giving it to Roger is that he was on call really 24/7 for the last, you're still on call, right? You still get calls for all of our students, all of our campuses for any COVID related concern. Come up here in case Tim can get you. We just, I want to make sure I haven't gotten COVID yet. I want to keep it that way. But let's go. Yeah, anyway, okay. But anyhow, thank you very much, Roger. Do you want to say a few words?
Thank you very much, everybody. It's been a pleasure and a privilege to work with all of our students. I hope I did a little bit to keep them safe, and I hope that I can continue to do the same. I enjoy it very much. Thank you.
Thanks, Roger. And Roger joined us from Wayne State, another person who saw the wisdom of moving south. But he's been great. He's an infectious disease specialist, been NIH funded, an HIV specialist, and really has done a great job, helped teach our pandemic medicine course. And really having someone like Roger to answer all those concerns about the students was invaluable. Now, moving on to GME. So we have a new DIO, Natasha Savage. When Michael Hocker left, he was such a great DIO that I was sorry to see him leave. And I said, how can we replace him? Well, we replaced him. And Natasha Savage has done a great job at running our GME program. Natasha, by the way, and if you guys missed this, she's going to probably quit. When I saw her in the cafeteria this week, I just wanted to make sure she was still happy. And I got behind her in line. I should have paid for her lunch. I didn't. But I said, Natasha, how you doing? She says, great. I love this job. What high school did Dr. Natasha Savage graduate from? Eric, help me out here. No, no. This is a retest. What if she quits if you don't know this? She went to A.R. Johnson. She could have walked it. Isn't that great? An A.R. Johnson graduate, is our DIO and, great resident, a great faculty member. So when you see Natasha, keep encouraging. She's done a great job. We're off morning. Our GME programs are all really doing very well. Now, I see Annette Johnson's here. She's on this. These are the leadership recruits, chairs, and center directors. I see Dr. Cortez is there. I can't go through all these. It would take up all our time. I'm just going to mention the last two. Linda Abruzzo is coming in June. She's going to chair pathology. She's a hemato and pathologist that Dr. Cortez knew from MD Anderson. She's now at Ohio State. And Caprice Greenberg, many of you know, joined us from University of Wisconsin-Madison as chair of surgery, and she's been busy recruiting. So we've had a lot of leadership changes, and we really were not slowed down too much by the pandemic. Now, we've had a lot of research discoveries, and that's my plug for this. Now, we don't have time to go through all these research discoveries, but this will be in the mail soon, MCG Magazine, which I think if we entered a contest would be the best medical school magazine in the country. And if you read this, all these people up here are discussed, almost all of them are discussed in this next issue, which is coming out. But this is a great magazine to read. I don't have time to go through all these. That's why we put these up there as a plug so you can read about it. Now, we have new research appointments thanks to Dr. Keel. He's now made research, has always been a priority, but now he has it. He has a goal that we become top 60 in NIH funding by 2030. And we're on our way, as we're going to show you. So Dr. Mark Hamrick, we appointed Senior Associate Dean for Research. He's been a Dean for Research before. They're going to hopefully have their third program project funded, the second renewal, the third time. And then Dr. Coley, who was indispensable during the COVID pandemic. He did a lot of this testing. I remember when we were trying to find PCR machines for him, and I came to meet him one Sunday, and Ravi looked like he hadn't shaved, and he told me he hadn't showered for days. He was so busy. He literally lived in the gem lab with his people. Well, he was indispensable, and he's now our Associate Dean for Translational Research and helping us prepare for next pandemic and the next public health emergency. Some other big news, Neil Weintraub and this team here got an American Heart Association award, strategically focused, research network in disparities in cardio-oncology. These are hard to get. They give one a year. He's in this with Boston University and University of Pennsylvania, and Medical College of Wisconsin. So they kind of work together in this network. It's kind of equivalent to a program project focus. These are all the people involved. And thank you for Neil. We involved Payne College, but this is a big feather in the cap of MCG, and really one of the biggest American Heart Association awards there are. So thank you to everybody. Dr. Keel and Provost McKinnon also funded a TRIBE initiative, which is a cluster hire in inflammation and brain aging. Very, very timely. So this is beyond MCG. It's all the schools you see there. So it's the Dental College of Georgia. It's the School for Cyber and Computer Science, Allied Health, and College of Science and Math. And the idea here is the top floor of the College of Science and Math, that brand new building, has a crosswalk built just above David Matson's office. It comes across to the back of the CA building. And so we have a plan to hire 15 to 20 faculty in this area amongst all these schools in the next few years. And Mark Hamrick and Babak Baban is the dean in the dental school, but most of us know him very well in the medical school. He's actually has a joint appointment in neurology and surgery. And then in MCG, the two co-chairs of the search committee are Dr. Liu and Dr. Fulton. And so I'm going to go now to some real big hires. This is really impactful. We thank you, Dr. Keel, for providing this funding. This is how you get at the top 60. You got to invest, and you got to invest in clusters. So our first tribal recruit is Dr. Chin Wang. I think she's starting April 1st. She's at UAB right now. She's got, I think, 4 NIH grants in the area of Alzheimer's disease, maybe 5, depending upon how you count them. What's exciting about her, she's got a kind of a new approach to Alzheimer's therapeutics. She's going to start an Alzheimer's therapeutic discovery program. and she's going to use medicinal chemists in the College of Science and Math, ones we have here and ones we're going to hire. And she's a GRA eminent scholar, which Dr. Keel announced at their Board of Trustees meeting yesterday. So I'm going to tell you, we're going to announce 3 new GRA eminent scholars, and they're all starting this year. And then her husband, Kei Zhao, is an NIH-funded researcher himself. He's Rick McIndoe's first hire as new director for the Center for Biotechnology and Genomic Medicine. And he's a cardiovascular genomics person. So they're both coming. They're very exciting, very, very nice people. And, you know, I hate to poach from UAB since I've got 2 children and a daughter-in-law there, but hopefully they'll forgive us because we really need Chin Wang. Now, this is other big news, and this is some of the biggest news we've ever had in the history of MCG. And it's the quality of the people and who these people are that's so important. So we're going to have a new Center for Immunology, very much like the VBC, a separate budget unit, just like the VBC is. But if you're in the Center for Immunology, you have to have an academic home. So you could be in medicine, physiology, you could be in pediatrics. So the idea here is we're going to recruit 20 faculty over 5 years. Laura, you're going to be busy, but you're going to be busy, and all research is going to be. But this is really, really exciting. I've probably never been so excited about research in my life. Now they will form divisions, and they're already communicating with Dr. Munn and Gang Zhao about what divisions to form. This is just tentative. It may not be these divisions, but immunology underlies so many things: COVID, cancer, atherosclerosis, autoimmune disease. You can't think of a disease that immunology is not important in. Diabetes, even hypertension, we've learned from David Matson's work and other work here. It is central. And it's completely different than I learned in medical school. Completely different than I learned in medical school, and even what you learned in medical school 10 years ago. Now, Kim Adianzar is younger. Maybe she knows it all from medical school. But most of us have forgotten it. So this is going to be co-directed by world-class immunologists. Here they are. This press release is just coming out today. The first husband-wife GRA team, first husband and GRA pair ever. And the GRA, I can't name everybody that helped us with this. I'm going to try to name some of them. So there's 2. Lynn Hedrick is also going to lead the Cancer Immunology Inflammation and Tolerance Program in the Cancer Center. So thank you, Jorge, and thank you, David Munn, and thank you, Gang Zhao, for recruiting her. Because she only came here because we had a seed of a great immunotherapy program, so you're building on it. But Lynn is one of the most collaborative people I've ever met. When she gave her first talk here, which was a great talk, I think she formed 4 collaborations during the talk, right? That's how she is, a great collaborator. She has a program project in immune cell interactions and atherosclerosis that got renewed. Now, for those of you who get NIH grants, have you ever heard of a perfect score? She got a perfect score of 10 on the renewal. I mean, you don't hear that much. So she'll be the GRA Bradley Turner Eminent Scholar Chair. Now, Klaus comes with her, all right? And when I was interviewing them, I got a little nervous the first time I did a Zoom meeting with them because, you know, a lot of times when you do a Zoom meeting, people have these beautiful backgrounds and, you know, but they're not really in Hawaii. And so their background looked like this house on the Pacific Ocean, but it was real. That's where they lived. So, you know, how do you get people from La Jolla Institute of Immunology, which is one of the greatest immunology institutes in the world, to come because of all of you? That's where they came. So Klaus is going to be in the Department of Physiology. I should have said Lynn's going to be in the Department of Medicine. Brian Annex was key to her recruitment. They're both immunologists and vascular biologists. That's what's important. So they immediately, all right, just work in very well with our vascular biology center and our interest in cardiovascular disease. If you know what an H index is, Klaus's was 125 and climbing. Last week, he had another science paper where he found out that olfactory receptors are in macrophages. I didn't know that. I thought olfactory receptors were only in the nose. I'm a neurologist. No, they're in macrophages, and they mediate, when they get activated, they mediate inflammation through the NLRP3 inflammasome and making IL-1. So this is a whole new pathway that you could interrupt to reduce atherosclerosis. Who would have ever thought that? But that's the kind of research done. You're going to see science papers, nature papers with great regularity now. So these are some of the most renowned immunologists in the world. And he'll also be a GRA eminent scholar. Now, it's not just that they're great scientists, but they're great people. And their motivation for coming here is to leave a legacy and to mentor medical students and graduate students and help everybody here. In fact, whenever I talk to them, they always want to know what other people, how can we help this person? How can we help that person? That's what they care about. So they're great people and they want to leave a legacy and they fit into our culture. So we couldn't have done this if it weren't for people like Jorge Cortez, who allowed us to put them in the cancer center and help recruit them. We couldn't have done it without them. We couldn't have done it with David Stepp, who let us meet in his back porch twice. Joe Miano and Zhao Chun Long had them over stay at his house and cook for them. So many people, David Fulton, Brian Annex, so many people, Sharad Gamandi, everybody helped. Tamika, Leslie, everybody helped. And then putting this package together, Neil McKinnon was extremely helpful, Bonnie Toronto, Dr. Keel, all of you. I can't tell you, this is going to pay off dividends like you'll never see, both direct and indirect. And actually, you're recruiting the two of them, get you halfway to top 60 almost. And the people they'll bring will get us a long way there. The numbers aren't important. It's really what you produce. The discoveries that'll come out of this hire will be huge, will have huge impact. So you can tell I'm a little excited. Now, closer to home, we just named last week, and they're still signing the papers. Bin Dong, who was the interim director, is now the director of the GPI, and Ryan Harris will be the associate director. They've been here a long time. The GPI is really a state and national treasure. We're going to invest in that and hire more people. And how much we're going to invest, let's just see what our budget looks like. And we got to talk to Dr. Keel. He's been so great so far. Don't worry, Dr. Keel. We're not going to give you anything yet. We're going to let you get home and think about this weekend. But we've already got this. This is going to grow organically. A lot of investment has been made. This has been a huge bonus for MCG. And we're going to keep it that way. This is human subject-based research. We had a research retreat that Dr. Keel was at, stayed the whole time. Thank you, Dr. Keel. This was the planning group for it. And I don't have time to go through all the people, but this is what we found, and this is very important. This research group looked at a lot of data, and they did a linear regression between how much NIH funding you have and how many medical school faculty you have. Now, MCG has been stuck at 70 to 73 since 2000, and probably before that. But it's not because we don't have great researchers here. We just don't have enough of them. And if you look, if you're above the line, it means you're above the average, right? You're above the mean for how much funding you have per faculty member. And if you look at it, if you look at schools with less than 700 faculty, we are number 2 in the country after Tulane. If you look at schools with less than 1,000 faculty, we're number 11 out of 72. So we punch above our weight. You punch above your weight. We just need more faculty. And we're just going to hire 20 more faculty. And they are going to be super productive. They're all going to be above this line. So we just have to hire more faculty. Our faculty is just too small here, as you're going to see later on. So here's the jump we have to make. And I won't go into all this, but in the interest of time, we want to get to top 60. It's always a good target to have. Just like we want 16,000 students by 2030. Now Dr. Keel has made it 16, 60, 30. So thank you, Dr. Keel, and thank you, Provost McKinnon. This is just, I'll just skip over. This is how many new awards we need. But I think with the Immunology Center and the GRA Eminent Scholar, Chin Wang, who we just hired, we just made it halfway there, if not more. The other thing is we're going to go back in for the CTSA. We never had a CTSA here. We put in last time, we got a great score. And I think under normal circumstances, we could have gone in again and got it funded. But in the middle of this, they reorganized the whole CTSA and put a new FOA in. So everybody has to go in new. The advantage is it's now 7 years. We got our reviews back. There was nothing really fatal in our reviews. So we're going to go back and resubmit in May 2022. And we hope to eventually get this, right, Wendy? Wendy's been a great help on the Career Development Award with the Career Development Corps. And these grants are really training grants and building careers. And that's really what's important to them. Now, our partner in this is Georgia State, and they've been a great partner. We've actually never gone to Georgia State, never come here, because we planned our first CTSA during the pandemic. And we got it in. I said, we got a great score. They're a good partner for us. They don't have a medical school. They're very strong in public health. They were voted in US News and World Report the third most innovative university in the country after Arizona State and MIT. And now I think we have, having worked with them over a couple of years now and doing some projects with them and some grants together, we're really getting to know them. But our theme here is health equity and health disparities. And those green, this is a Robert Wood Johnson map, and the greener you are, the sicker you are. And Georgia's a sick state, particularly South Georgia. And if you look at the worst, most unhealthy county in New York State, that's the Bronx, by the way. It's a county. That would just be in the middle of our sickness. That's not the most sick. They would actually be light green on our map. And that's just relative how sick, and that's how the whole the Southeast is. So we're going to get FQHCs involved, Wellstar is involved with this, all of our regional campuses involved. And the key thing here is we want to get research out to our regional campuses and be ready for the next pandemic. As part of that, it's really important to get the EMR as part of this coordinated informatics core. And this is where we've really had a lot of help from our School of Cyber and Computer Science. Gagan Agrawal has been key to helping us design this. Andrew Ballas from Allied Health, Rick McIndoe from MCG have gotten together and designed this extensible data warehouse where we're going to get data not just from our health system, but from an organization, ShareCare, which gets data from smartphones and from surveys. So we think this is unique. This was reviewed pretty well in our first go of it. So this is huge. Big data is huge. And we plan to go in, and we're eventually going to get this at some point in the future, hopefully next time. So again, coming back to our size of our faculty, we've got great faculty, we just don't have enough of them. And this is a very illustrative graph. And blue is how many medical students you have. And it's great, we have a lot of medical students. Green is how many clinical faculty you have. And kind of that darker gray is the size of your health system, but it's the dollars of your health system per medical student. So there's us, VCU, UAB, UNC, Mississippi, and UFC. Even Mississippi has a bigger health system than us. So we've got lots of students, a lot of great faculty, just not enough faculty, and not a big enough health system in size and in volume and in revenue to really support the medical school like we need to. So this is really problem. It's no one's fault. It's just a kind of an artifact of history. It's just where we are and what's happened in the past. So can't do anything about it, but we can address it and we can improve. So, this is what I showed. I've shown this every single talk I've given. I just keep adding on to it. This was really the vision to have a statewide academic regional campus system, which I think we're at. The research part is going to come through the CTSA. And now I think hopefully we'll be part of a larger health system soon. More on that later. And if we're part of that health system, we're going to become the academic core to a larger health system. We have a lot to give. I don't have time to go into all the great clinical things we do here. It's just a partial list. But as an academic medical center, we're doing CAR-T therapy. We do bone marrow transplants. We have a children's hospital. We've got a great cancer center with a great cancer center director, Jorge Cortez, who is the best cancer center director in America. I'll go out on a limb and say that. He didn't even ask. You don't have to feed him. He just runs marathons. He's so low maintenance. I don't have to buy him lunch. But thank you, Jorge, for all you do. And thank you so much for helping us bring that immunology center to the cancer center. We have a comprehensive stroke center, level 1 trauma center. We have a lot to give. We have a Columbia County Hospital. Charlie Howell, Katrina Kiefer, Alan, Jennifer Miller are working to design this with all of our faculty, very inclusive. It's been really exciting. This is at exit 190. We'll finally have our suburban hospital to complement our hospital down here. So I am extremely excited. I think our future is bright. I think we're going to have an immunology center that will be not just the best in the Southeast, one of the best in the country, if not one in the nation, because La Jolla Institute of Immunology has 20 faculty. They're senior faculty. We're going to have 22 and probably more. And we already have such great immunotherapy here with David Munn's work, Yang Zhao's work, others. It will be a great place. And the future will be bright. So we'll have a Columbia County Hospital, we'll be part of a larger health system. Our regional campus is healthy. We've got great leadership. So I'm excited. I want to, again, thank the physician, nurse, and staff of the health system, all of you, of who Roger MacArthur is the icon, if you will, of all the good things that have happened here. And I know we're weary. We're in this last wave. Hopefully it'll be the last wave. And again, I'm grateful, as I always am, to the IT and classroom services. And Daryl, I forgot your Coke, I'm sorry, but thank you all. You did not have one glitch here, despite all the mistakes I could have made. You prevented me from making any mistakes by rehearsing this with me multiple times, and you did all these transfers. So thank you very much. Happy to have questions. And what's the refrain? One MCG, one mission, many campuses. And that's our secret sauce. That is our strength. The faculty is our strength. The students are our strength. And our staff is our strength. So I can happy to take some questions here. I don't know that we can set anything up on a chat, but who has questions here? Anyone? I guess you haven't eaten lunch, so you're probably hypoglycemic. Yeah, Vincent Robinson, a past president of the Faculty Senate, who is still very active in the Faculty Senate.
I really enjoyed your talk. It's certainly very optimistic and it gives us momentum. I know we've been in discussions in making the health system larger. In general terms, do you have anything to say to this group as to what's happening and what are
well, that's a good question. I have to be careful to answer that because the process is still confidential. Not that I want to hide anything from you, but I will just say that I'm excited, and I'll just leave it at that. I think better days are ahead. I think we'll hopefully have a partner that will share. Most important than a partner is somebody to share your culture, right? Who believes what you believe. It's the money, it's the capital, but it's also getting into a health system that thinks like you think, values education, values patient care, and values employees. And hopefully that's what we're going to have. So I'm optimistic, but I think we just have to wait. Just be patient. Just be patient. We should know more in the coming months. You know, maybe by Masters Week, we'll know a little bit more. But I mean, there's a lot of people are working very, very hard at many, many levels on this. So I know I'm evading your question, but that's all I can do to answer it. Yeah, no, and let's be optimistic. I really think this is going to be a good year for us. I mean, 3 GR eminent scholars that Dr. Kill was able to announce at one meeting, that rarely happens. And the quality of those people, not just scientifically, but who they are. They're all collaborative people. They've got what we have, right? They're very much like us, and they want to build something, and they really care about the next generation of faculty and students. And that's why they're coming here. Wendy, you always have a question. No? All right. Anybody else? Eric? Yeah.
With the tribal, where will the majority of the recruits, will they be in the CA building or where are they going to be?
Yeah, so the tribal, that's a good question. The 4th floor of College of Science and Math, as Dr. Keel is aware, the cost of that went up because of the supply chain issues. And it hasn't moved along as fast. We're trying to keep it on target. So some will go there, but in the meantime, for example, the first one, Ching Wang, there is room in the CA building that neuroscience has. So Dr. Lu's already found her space, so she's not a problem. And then thanks to Dr. Cortez, and this is the kind of cancer center we have, even though Klaus Ley is not a cancer doctor, the immunology center is going to be connected with cancer. So Klaus Ley, who's partly funded from TRIBA, but many other streams, will go to the cancer center. So the 4th floor of the cancer center, that new wing, which has a lot of good space, Lynn and Klaus will be there together. And that's really important because they do things like flow cytometry. So, I learned from Lynn about this machine called a cytoph. It basically uses heavy metals, and it basically is a 46 channel, like a flow cytometer. And so we're buying that. The GRA we're already putting the order in to buy that when she comes. So she's going to enhance our cores. Klaus is going to enhance our cores. We already have, thanks to money that Dr. McKinnon and Dr. Keel made available last year, we got some great flow cytometry equipment. You know, the Aurora, we've got great equipment. So that was perfect timing. And then the single cell RNA-seq, we have the equipment, and then Klaus is going to help us, you know, bring some additional expertise to run it. So eventually we're going to have to go, but eventually we're going to have to go to the College of Science and Math. But, you know, if you think about it, by the time people come and you recruit them, we should be okay. So we shouldn't slow down on recruitment. And we still have some other space tucked away here that we can recruit people into. So I don't think space is the issue. Now, we do want to also start hiring people who do dry lab research and computational research. So bioinformatics is really important. So, you know, we want to hire some bioinformaticians. Now, it just so happens that Lynn Abruzzo's husband, Kevin Coombs, is a bioinformatician. In fact, if you want to read it, he was on 60 Minutes, and you can go look at his 60 Minutes special. And so that was also important to help recruit, because you have to have bioinformatics people. And Jennifer Sullivan, who I should have congratulated because she's the new dean of the graduate school, you know, she's conveyed a group to look at developing a graduate program, either master's or PhD in bioinformatics. And what's really nice now, we have a new chair of math in College of Science Math is into this. We have College of Cyber and Computer Science who can hire bioinformatics people. So we really have the opportunity to hire some more bioinformatics people and dry lab people, because they don't need that type of space. They need, you know, high-speed computing, but they don't need animal space. The other important reason to put the 2 new immunology people in the cancer center is there's a lot of good animal space at the top. So this just clicked. This just recruitment clicked thanks to all of you and everybody, you know, compromised for the best, you know, for the best of MCG. Well, I don't want to drag this on any more than we have to. I mean, we finished 8 minutes. Actually, here's a text. Maybe I'm getting a question. I got a question, but I can't answer that one. But thank you for coming. And again, I'm sorry you didn't get lunch. Eric had lunch. But hopefully next year we're going to do this. And I told the Faculty Senate and Julie that next September we're going to do this no matter what's happening in September. You know, unless Roger MacArthur says we can't have it, we're going to have it in September, because I'm not going to try to figure out when to have this and then pick the worst weather day of the year, right, Julie? So Julie and we're going to have this in September next year. And I think by that time, Vincent, we can answer your question, right? It just, you know, I couldn't delay this. If I delayed this another time, I would have been shot by my staff, right, Tony? But don't forget this. This is really a great magazine. I think we should give CME credit, because the science articles are deep. You know, I get these from other institutions, and it's just like, you know, you read it and it's like, I mean, I'm done with it in like 2 minutes. But this is really in depth. This is like taking a class. It's so good. All right. Well, thank you very much. Julie, anything? Sorry, I'm gonna hand it back over to Julie.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you so much for your vision, your leadership for our institution. I think the best is to come for us. It sounds like there's so many great, exciting things going on for our institution, but our state patients who really just need us to step up and deliver our care where the need is. And so I'm just really excited. Family medicine is growing to try to meet that need as well, and along with the rest of the institution. So I think the best is yet to come, and that's because we do have great leadership and vision, and that's what we need, and people willing to step up and do the work. So thank you to all the faculty. We couldn't be a great institution without everybody. So thank you. Please stay safe. Please stay warm, and be careful out there. I'm not sure what we're going to get for the weather, but just everyone stay safe, and hopefully we'll be able to get back together in the near future and see you next month. Take care. If you have any questions, please email me. Happy to work on any issues that are something that may come up through the faculty. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Take care.